If you have been waking up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you're wide awake, your mind is already going over everything that you need to do tomorrow, and you were wondering, what is wrong with me? First, I need to tell you, nothing's wrong with you. It's your body adapting, not failing you. And today we're going to be talking about sleep, hormones, your nervous system. And with me, I have Shawna Hogue. She's a dear friend. She's a personal trainer for over 17 years. I'll let her introduce herself. So welcome to our second podcast, because here in the Calm movement, we don't punish our bodies. We build systems that support them. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. And I'm so glad that you wanted to highlight the importance of sleep and how our hormones can affect our sleep quality, especially in perimenopause. Now, as far as my own credentials, I've been a trainer at Shape Plus for 17 years now. My husband started the business in 2003. So we've been doing this for a really long time. And prior to that, I had worked as a surgical first assistant in cardiovascular and neurotrauma surgery. So it's been really nice to take the transition from working in a clinical environment. And now I have the ability to help people get healthy before they actually need any types of medical intervention. Hopefully, that's usually the goal.
And you're huge into women, fitness, and wellness.
Yes, of course, I do train men and women, but I have a vast number of women in all stages of life. I love working with, women who are athletes, women who are like weekend warriors. Everyone has different goals when it comes to their health and fitness, and I do my best to support them. We focus primarily on strength training and offer nutritional support as well to improve overall health.
Wonderful. Now, when I talk to you about this podcast, you have a specific interest in sleep. Tell us about it.
I often joke and say I only love my bed and my mama, just like Drake, but it is truly a foundational pillar when it comes to every other system and function of the human body. I see women of all ages on a daily basis. And as they come in, I give the hi, good morning, big hello, how are you doing? And very often, the first thing I hear is, I'm tired. And it is a very self-defeating feeling, especially if you feel like you're struggling with sleep, if you're not staying asleep, if you wake up and you don't feel well rested. And there are so many factors that will affect your rest as a whole.
So, what I hear is um, a lot of women, they think they're losing control over their body because they're no longer able to sleep, especially women in their late 30s and 40s, hitting premenopause and menopause. And then you start feeling that you're losing control of your body. Again, what is wrong with me? How do we navigate this? How do we connect or disconnect the sleep part with what our bodies are going through with the premenopause and menopause?
Well, a lot of the issues that surround women's health cannot be directly pinned down with blood work. Our bodies are constantly changing. Your hormone levels are constantly changing. And even if you go to see your doctor and you have regular blood work done, it may not show a deficiency, whether it's in estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, these things. So
So you think it's not insomnia, right? The lack of sleep, it's related with our hormones at this point, and this cannot be found in a blood work. Is that what you're trying to say?
very often, like a doctor can look at your blood work and think everything is fine, but a lot of it is symptomatic. Are you having racing thoughts at night? Are you waking up with your heart pounding? Are you sweating throughout the night? Are you having trouble falling back asleep? A lot of women will wake up essentially at the same time when it is related to estrogen decrease. It's that time like around 2:35 to 3 a.m. It's a very common time that women happen to wake up, and it is a direct effect of decreased estrogen, which, like I said, you can't always pin down with, blood panel because your hormone levels change drastically.
It's such a relief to hear that because a lot of women is like, is this a personal failure? I have a difficulty with this word. Is this a personal failure to myself? What is happening? And I think it's a good reminder that it's physiological. Is that the correct word? That we have to be gentle to ourselves and truly understand what is happening to our body.
Well, I mean, absolutely. It's not something that we have control over per se, but there are things that we can implement, very simple lifestyle. And I hate to use the word hack because it's like such a, buzzword now.
Are you telling me like more motivation, more energy, more hunger? What are the things that it matters that we can change and make our sleep better if we're going through all these hormones change? Is there anything that I can do to have a better sleep, knowing that I'm going through all these changes within my
Yes.
body?
And it's not as hard as some people might make it out to be.
Okay, ding, 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 ding. What is it?
So hormonally, our bodies are cued by our environment, what you're putting into your body, what you're exposing your body to. And the number one thing that we can all do to optimize our health is to wake up at the same time each and every day and expose our bodies to sunlight. Get that
Okay.
first morning sun into your retina. It tells your brain that it is time to start your day. That is when you want cortisol. You want cortisol first thing in the morning. It's going to hype you up. It's going to get you ready.
And then
And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but for people who do not understand cortisol, what is cortisol?
cortisol is a hormone that is secreted by your body, and it is that get up and go hormone.
It's the stress hormone,
It
right?
is the stress hormone. Now, when people hear the word stress, they think that there's a negative aspect to that. But there is such a thing as good stress. Exercise is stress
Yeah.
on the body.
Yeah.
If you look at someone's lab work, you can see they have increased lactic acid, they have increased, adrenaline. Your immune system is temporarily lowered, but all in all, exercise is very good for you. So that is a hormone that you want to stimulate at the correct time of day. You want to have cortisol in the morning. And in order to do that, you can wake up, go outside, expose yourself to morning sun, extra
Okay.
points if you can ground yourself onto the earth.
I'm huge into grounding.
You are?
Yes.
You might have thought it was crazy.
No,
I'd sit
no.
out in the rocking chair.
In fact, one of my first or second newsletter for the call movement, it's about grounding.
Oh, that
People
is
thought I was crazy.
well, I mean, it's not a hack. Is something that makes you feel so there's a reason why you feel great going to the beach and
Yes.
putting your toes into the
Yes.
sand and letting the waves, crack.
Yes.
It's such a wonderful feeling, and that is how your body gets that negative charge. And that induces good health and helps with the production of all the hormones that we need at the right times. Because that is what we want to do. We want to begin our morning and it sets off a cascade of hormone that will support you throughout the day at the right times.
So the first step then is to create a routine such as wake up first thing in the morning.
Same
Get
time.
some at the
Same
same
time.
time.
You want to be consistent. And I know this is a big point of the call movement, consistency. It's about adhering to a program or a process or a nutritional plan. In order for you to be successful, it's all about adherence and consistency. So if you want to be able to go to bed at the same time, that means you need to wake up at the same time each day.
Okay. What is your second uh checklist item for better sleep if I'm going through those crazy hormonal change?
Another recommendation, super easy, is planning your meals throughout the day, making sure that you are eating consistently, you're getting enough protein, you're getting enough fiber, you're getting enough micronutrients, and a biodiverse selection of fruits and vegetables throughout the day. Making sure that you intermittently go outside. It's going to remind your body every time you go out to the sun, if it's cold, you expose your clavicles to the temperatures, and it helps. Again, stress on the body helps to build resistance. It helps with your immune system and it helps to regulate your hormones. After exercising, actually, after having a lunch, it's been shown that doing something as easy as 10 to 15 squats or taking a walk outside for 10 minutes can help to reduce your insulin levels. It helps to de-stress and bring your sympathetic nervous system down. And all of these things help to support a woman's hormones when you are kind of going through this time of havoc.
In order for me to sleep well, I need to get a rhythm of going to bed and waking up at the same time. And additional points if I do a little bit of grounding, which I love that. Second of all is having healthy meals with micronutrients, biodiversity, which means eat your colors, eat in colors, and that's going to help me to sleep better.
Your blood sugar, your insulin levels by waking up and making sure that you get this sunlight and you're eating your meals, you can stimulate dopamine and serotonin. And those are hormones. Serotonin is made in the gut. And it is also a precursor to melatonin. I'm sure everyone has heard of melatonin. A lot of people buy it at a local pharmacy. And unfortunately, it is something that you don't want to be dependent upon. A lot of dosages are really higher dosages than what, we should be taking. And I have taken melatonin before, but it is something that I try to use sparingly just to get back on rhythm because your body should be creating its own hormone. It's made and secreted by your pineal gland. And when you are getting proper sunlight in the morning, you're getting a good meal throughout the day, you're, getting your exercise and movement, all of these things help to support those hormones, the dopamine and the serotonin. And that is going to in turn set your clock so that your brain starts to secrete melatonin on its own at the right time. If you wake up, and I'm guilty at times, you pick up your phone and you look at this blue light and it's still dark outside, you are totally confusing your body. We were not meant to be under these fluorescent lights. We weren't meant to be inside all day. And we certainly were not meant to be looking at these screens. It's a major disruption to our brain and it's sending a signal to our bodies that is telling us it's the wrong time of day, which is why it's so confusing. And that can really affect your melatonin production that is supposed to occur naturally at bedtime.
Okay. We're going through those changes in your body. Perimenopause, menopause. First and foremost, we want to make sure we are synchronizing our sleep with the same time that we go to bed and the same time we wake up. Additionally, we do the grounding. Second of all, you do your health eating with the micronutrients, biodiversity for your gut health, because your gut health is highly related with
Serotonin.
the serotonin. Yes.
And our melatonin.
then you do some sort of strength exercise. You reduce your screens at the night because you're confusing your brain to think that it's day, but it's night because of the lights. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes. And as your day trickles on, and the reason why I didn't mention nutrition is because our bodies are meant to do certain things at certain times. So if you get on a consistent routine, a consistent schedule of I wake up, I do a little cardio, I have some breakfast, and then I go outside, I get some sunlight, I come in, I do work and have my lunch. And then after that, I might lift weights for, 45 minutes. And then after that, I'll have another meal. All of this timing is very important because our bodies are meant to do specific things at certain times. And that again is also going to affect your hormone secretions. And everyone in my house makes fun of me because once the sun starts to go down, I triple click my phone. I have a setting on my phone, and every iPhone and Android has them. You can set a softer light to your screen. I try to not put any television on, try not to do anything that's going to cause any kind of anxiety or adrenaline, bring the vibe down. No, looking at the news if that stresses you out. No, like kids running around acting crazy. And really, the best way for us to help our children with their sleep habits is for us to model what we want them to do. So I tell, I have a teenager, I'm like, take the phone, put it in the kitchen for the rest of the night. You don't need to have the EMFs by your ear. You don't need to fry your brain. We don't want to fry our brain while we're sleeping. And I mean, I've read studies of where, there's been people who have trouble sleeping just from having a Wi-Fi printer on in their house. So trying to really eliminate your body being surrounded by electronics, any sort
Mhm.
of EMF or blue light, and making sure that you just kind of calm it all down.
It's so funny you saying all this because as you are developing and talking to us about this sleep, I'm going back when I have my first baby, when I had Jack, and I remember trying to develop a sleeping habit because he was a terrible sleeper. He wouldn't sleep through the night. So I remember trying to develop habits for him to sleep through the night. And that started with like, let's dim the lights. Let's put some soothing music. Let's lower our voice. It feels like we almost have to go back to that stage when we're infants to really get that good night of sleep. But then my question is, you might not have the answer. It's like, what do I do? I'm up at 2 or 3 a.m. What do I do? I've been experienced that, and then I'm like, what do I do here? So I count. I try to count. I try deep breathe, deep breaths, and nothing brings me back to my sleep. What do you do?
Well, I have a very strict evening hygiene routine when it comes to my sleep. I feel really bad because I love my husband so much. I just can't sleep in a room when someone's snoring. So I sleep in a separate bedroom, and the window is open and it is so cold. The temperature is like, it is freezing in the bedroom. I find that I rest better when the temperature is low. Have you ever tried utilizing like eye pillows, keeping the room very dark and using eye pillows, not only for blocking sun, but also our autonomic nervous system? It's kind of like the part of our brains that do their own thing. And not to say you have direct control over it, but there are things that we can do to influence it. And if you think of your sympathetic nervous system as kind of like the gas pedal, and the parasympathetic would be the brake. And so you don't want to do anything that's going to stimulate that sympathetic nervous system. And one thing that can help is a weighted eye pillow. Having that pressure on your eyes helps to induce your parasympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
Um,
I'll check that out. I need to
yes,
try that out.
I've been sleeping with an eye pillow for years now. I have earplugs. And just as time has gone by, it's annoying to have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, but making sure that you don't turn any lights on, making sure that it's very dark and very
But
cold.
then how do you disconnect your brain? I don't know about you, but my brain started doing those lists, what I have to do tomorrow, take Jack and Tommy to soccer, go to work, do my training. How you stop that? How you control that part? That's to me, it's a very hard part because once I'm up, my brain just goes into places.
That is practice, and our minds are sort of programmed to do that because we're always looking for a problem to solve,
Mhm.
especially when you're a mother and there's a never ending list of tasks and things to do and places to go and people to see. So that is something that everyone can practice getting into the habit. Um, I actually do quite a bit of meditating. I know I know, I know how you feel about that, but it is a way to calm your nervous system down. And it's just like any other muscle. Once you practice, you get better at it. If you can really think, okay, I'm going to have these thoughts and then I'm just going to let them go because
Control your mind.
yes,
Control your
it's,
mind. Yes.
it's
And I'm huge into mental toughness. That's mental toughness right there.
It's very easy for you to get on a bike
It's,
and pedal for 3 hours. That is that is
yeah.
not an easy task. But, I mean, you're a 4-time Ironman, so it's
But
just
there's certain things that it's easier for me than controlling the mind in the middle of the night. I would rather go on a bike ride for 6, 10 hours. Awesome. So now I have something new that I want to introduce to the podcast. It's called the call out the myth. The myth here is if you were more disciplined, you would sleep better. What is the truth?
well, physiologically, we don't always have control over our endocrine system. So, my body is a lot different now than it was when I was 20. My hormones are different. My everything is different. And that means that I have to adjust my life around the way my body works. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, the same things that used to work for me before aren't necessarily going to be adequate for me to have my optimal health level. I want to function every day feeling great. And that is my main objective and my main goal. So we have to work around those.
I like that. And then let's talk about a practical reset. If you do nothing, start where?
Well, like I said, first things always get sun. I was laughing because I'm not on the internet a whole lot, but there's a diss out there whenever someone is in the chat. It's like, you need to get off the keyboard and go touch grass. So I think that's great advice. Get your feet on the earth, get your hands in the dirt. All
Yep.
of those things help to reset your nervous system. Also, get your night routine dialed in. It doesn't have to be perfect every single night. Like last night, and this is a big thing, I find that when I tell my clients, try to have your meal, you want to have an eating window. And you want to eat when the sun is up. You don't want to have a big meal at 8 or 9 o'clock. And I know sometimes you have dinner plans and, you're going to go out and you're going to have wine. All of these things disrupt our sleep, especially around, perimenopause. So try to make adjustments in that. It's like if you are going to go have dinner, try to have it a little earlier and make sure that you have your last meal within 3 hours of going to bed. All of these things.
I love those practical resets because they're all doable. And again, I will connect to my first podcast, which is about creating systems, structures that it's going to set us for success. And those are very basic stuff, like go from wake up at the same time, enjoy some sunlight. Don't eat a huge meal before you go to bed. eat consistently, create routines, you know, don't seek perfection. Don't just find a good structure that works for you. Those are very practical things that can be done just like that. So I love that. And then one more thing before we do a closing here. What is the identity shift here? How can we approach our body? And I love what you said. This is for me is the connection with an identity, identity shift. We're no longer 20 years old anymore. We can't be, you know, doing stuff that we did. We need to adapt and we need to accept that things are changing. We need to embrace, if you will. I know it's hard. Everyone knows that, you know, my grays are coming. We need to embrace that we're aging. And with that, there's so many changes. And I think one more time, and I'll push that over and over, we need to stop punishing ourselves. We need to stop thinking more is better, harder is better. So I think at this point we need to stop controlling our body, but we should start supporting our body.
Yes. And like, I love the focus on consistency and putting in systems that are going to support your body in a positive way in the direction in which it's going. You know, whether I have clients who do hormone replacement therapy, it's not for everyone. I have clients who, you know, they really focus on making sure that I'm such a big advocate of getting quality rest, that it is one facet of health. And if you focus on really dialing it in and getting quality sleep, it improves every other aspect of your life, your heart rate variability, your insulin levels, your mood, your motivation to exercise. And if you can really dial that in, you're going to feel like you have more control
I,
over everything else.
I love that. So if you're waking up at 3 a.m., your body's not betraying you. Your body's asking for support. It's asking for regulation and it's asking for structure. And here we are at the Calm Movement. We believe that strength is just not about how hard you train. It's how well you can recover, how well you can support yourself. So because we are women who do not punish our bodies, we're women who build a system that support them. So if this resonates to you, join me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram again. Any final words for our viewers? And
Recovery. This is what it's all about. I mean, this whole discussion about sleep really is how your body recovers and regenerates. So you can dial that in, you will be winning. That's how you win the day.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have Shawna back into this podcast. So don't forget, subscribe it. And thank you for your time and see you next time.
See ya.